What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. We got the one and only Skyler Day coming on the show today.
Yeah, super excited for this one. I mean, Parenthood, it was one of my favorite storylines on Parenthood was with Amy and Drew, and she's just phenomenal on that. And, of course, we've got a little battle. She was on The Resident and Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
So, we're going to talk to her about that. And did you guys know she's a singer? Yeah. She's also a musician, man. She writes and plays her own music, been touring on the clubs and stuff. So that's going to be fun to
if you're in the LA area, you've probably seen her perform.
Yeah, no doubt.
Phenomenal. Check out her YouTube page. Like, all of her music's up there. So it's really good. I can't wait for everybody to hear this one.
Absolutely, man. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. So it's later on, but let's get started with the show. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Holy moly, episode 106 we are on.
Yes, 106. Yeah. Under quarantine.
Under quarantine. Still doing it.
Like everybody else, what is this? A third of the world's population is under quarantine or mandated to stay at home. That's us.
Yep.
We're doing this thing from home.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's the beauty of having the home office.
It is. We are blessed enough to be able to do what we do wherever we are, and that includes home. So, yeah,
It is what it is, man. It is what it is. We're taking all the precautionary terms, like doing all that good stuff, trying to stay safe during this pandemic. And, yeah, man, I mean...
I haven't touched my face or anybody else's face since they told me not to.
Yeah.
I
don't blame you. I wouldn't touch anybody else's face
either. No, you don't want to do that.
No.
And wash your hands really good.
Exactly. Your host with the most, myself, J-Lo Fantastic. I'm the one and only Mao.
What's up?
Oh, yeah. And we got a whole bunch of news to talk to you about, more than just the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So happy about that.
Because last week's industry news was Corona.
Yeah.
This week it's sprinkled with Corona, but we've got some other stuff too, some exciting stuff.
Exactly. But before we get this thing started, we got to plug our merchandise website, crazyantmedia.com. You can get a shirt, you can get a hat, you can get a bonk bag. We're looking into bonk boxers.
Bonk boxers,
all
man.
The good shit.
We're going to make that shit happen.
Oh, my goodness.
Boxers.
It's so fucking funny. Like, bonk right on the crotch. You never know.
No, it's true.
Oh, my goodness. So much good stuff. But, yes, head over to crazyantmedia.com. Click on the merchandise tab and start rocking your latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. What do you think I said?
No, we're not doing that. We're not selling those.
Oh, God. No Crazy Ant Media pads. No.
No.
Oh, my goodness.
No. Nobody wants that.
No, but we got some somber news to talk about at the very beginning. The gambler himself, Kenny Rogers, passed away.
Yeah, if you guys missed it, he passed away last weekend, and it's just such a significant loss for the music industry.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 decades of touring. This guy was in the industry and toured 6 decades, guys. I mean, we knew he was kind of like in kind of bad health because, I think he did his last show in Nashville in like 2017, and then he just kind of like became reclusive, and kind of was not out in public and everything. But died at 81?
81.
From natural causes, though. We don't want to, it was natural causes, just 60 hard years on the road, man. That'll take its toll on anybody, really.
Yeah, not the corona pandemic. It wasn't affected by that.
No.
Well, it says that in the rundown.
No. It says he was not affected by it.
It says due to the corona pandemic.
Yeah, due to the pandemic, they're going to plan a small private service.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
You got to read ahead a little bit,
Makes sense.
Yeah, no.
Makes sense.
No, so the funeral is affected by the pandemic. Yeah.
But that playwright was the one that died of the coronavirus.
Right. Yes.
Which, super crazy, man.
I know.
Especially the elderly, they need to really watch themselves because you don't want this happening to you or your elder family members.
No, it's a scary thing, but you got to deal with it, man. I mean, it's everywhere, and some people get it. And, and while I don't think anyone should have to suffer through this, I really have no sympathy for this next one.
Right.
Harvey Weinstein has coronavirus, guys.
That douche.
He tested positive for the coronavirus in prison. Days after being transferred to the Wenday Correctional Facility in New York City's Rikers Island, the convicted rapist now is in medical isolation. He's only one of 2 people in this, prison.
Yeah.
What the... What?
I know. It just sounds like some bullshit trying to get out of prison because of that shit.
Well, it's definitely keeping him from being transported to L.A. to face the L.A. charges.
Yeah,
so,
that makes sense.
I mean, it's just crazy. 961 capacity maximum security facility, but just one of 2 prisoners.
What the fuck?
So, yeah, it's a pretty empty-ass thing. The Department of Corrections did come out, though, and say that they don't believe he contracted it from the prison system. So, did he get it at Bellevue? Did it, back and forth between the travel? Who knows? But, again, I have no sympathy for this douchebag.
No.
Boo-hoo. You got it.
Yeah.
It seems like karma to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
exactly. And I mean, just speaking our minds a little bit, I wouldn't be sad if he died of the coronavirus.
I mean, he's elderly. He's already facing health problems. He's sick. So, I mean, they say he's all right, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know,
man. I don't know. But because of all the shit that's going down with Harvey Weinstein, get this, Bill Cosby is now looking to try to serve the rest of his time at home because he is worried about getting the coronavirus.
Yeah, this just sounds like some shady-ass lawyering shit to me to get another scumbag out of jail, okay? Harvey got it, so Bill could get it. We've got to get Bill out of there and let him serve it at home. No, Bill is a rapist. He's a convicted rapist. He belongs in prison.
Exactly.
And again, the Department of Corrections said, hey, we test every day. We make sure what's going on. We're keeping the facility clean. It's highly unlikely he's going to get it. There are other ways to get out of jail. Parole hearings, or your sentence could be commuted. We're in charge of none of those things.
No.
He's not getting out just because he thinks he might get corona. So, like I said, just a douchebag move by the attorneys to try to get him out. Bill, serve your fucking time, bro.
Exactly. You did these things.
Exactly.
Fucking pay your price.
And admitted that he did it.
Exactly. It's so annoying. But other annoying people in the industry news this week.
Douchebag attorneys.
Exactly.
Lori Loughlin. Aunt Becky.
Yep.
Aunt Becky and the husband, their lawyers are actually trying to say they were set up by the government.
What the fuck?
Yes. Yeah. As you guys know, they're scheduled to go to trial in October, right? So they don't want to go to trial because they are guilty as fuck. They don't want to go. So now the attorneys for Lori and her husband, Massimo Giannulli, who, by the way, have you seen any of his shit in Target lately? Nope.
No.
Nope. They have officially sought to have the harsh college bribery scheme against their clients dismissed this week. The attorneys proclaimed in their filing in federal court that the feds pressured the scam charity boss, William Singer, into implicating the two. And that it wasn't true. Guys,
it's like, what?
We've seen the photoshopped pictures of them on the crew. It's all fucking true. So now they're trying to make up this story that the feds somehow pressured this guy into implicating them, even though they weren't a part of it.
Right.
That is the most made up fucking defense ever.
Exactly. Before this, who was gonna try to target Aunt Becky for some legal troubles? What the fuck? That doesn't happen.
No, I mean this is ridiculous to even suggest that the government would put pressure on him to implicate. I mean, come on now.
I know.
You know why they're doing it? Because, guys, if they're convicted on all of the charges, 50 years in prison. Aunt Becky could be facing 50 years in prison. I don't know if it'll be a full house. Might be an empty house like Harvey's, but, but it's going to be the big house.
Right.
50 fucking years in the big house. So they're trying anything to avoid it. You know what, though? They could have avoided it by doing what Felicity Huffman did and a lot of the other people that were charged in it did and pled guilty.
Exactly.
Showed some freaking remorse for doing it, and showed some sort of, responsibility, and maybe you'd have been out in a few weeks like Felicity was. But now you're facing 50 years. And I'm telling you, they just keep pissing the judge off more and more and more. This is a judge that already said they wanted to throw the book at him.
Yeah.
They wanted to put the harshest penalty on him. Well, you keep doing shit like this, you're all but assured you're getting the 50 fucking years.
Exactly.
I mean, you got to be careful, man.
I know. Just admit to your flaws. Admit to what you have done. Like, trying to get around it in some sort of shady way is not the way to do it.
No, man. I can't even believe that this is, like... What I mean, this is why lawyers get bad raps.
Yeah.
The Bill Cosby thing and these lawyers, it's like, come on, man. I know you're supposed to do everything to give your clients the best possible defense, but not make up shit.
No.
Like, I mean, just come on, man.
I know. Super fucked up. Super fucked up. Well, getting away from the legal shit, this is super crazy. This is super crazy. The U.S. box office, due to the ongoing impact of the COVID-19 virus, oh my goodness, set a $0 revenue over last weekend.
Yes, for the first time in U.S. box office history.
Yeah.
No revenue. Zero revenue. What?
So needless to say, we're not talking about box office this week.
I mean, that one just blew me away. And, basically the impact has, because there's been no movies, there's been no revenue, there's been no, coming in and
right.
And we've talked about this all last week about all the productions being shut down. The studios are basically closed.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggies, you can't do it. I mean, they're closed with all production. There's no studio tours going on. I mean, basically Hollywood is shut down.
Yeah. I mean, it really sucks for, us. We're trying to get in the door. We're trying to get that meeting to pitch our projects, but with everybody shut down, that they're not taking these meetings. They're not taking these projects. But it is good for people like us as well, so we could work hard to try to perfect our projects as well. But I mean, for the time being, we don't know what's going to happen.
No, in the Hollywood Reporter, I saw a really good interview today talking about how Hollywood may never be the same after this.
Yeah.
Even after it's all over and everything, because they're changing so many things. That 90-day release window from the time it's in the theaters to when it can come out on streaming and all. Now they're pushing everything out on streaming real quick.
Exactly.
And they're like bending and changing all these rules. And this article just kind of goes into the fact that once those are all changed, can you really swing the momentum back to the old way? And so, I mean, we might be seeing a drastic change in Hollywood that might be irreversible.
Yeah, and I mean, we talk about each week the streaming wars. It's slowly but steady, taking over the network broadcast system and everything like that. But this virus is really making an impact on that stuff. So obviously everything's getting shut down, so that maybe streaming service become the number one now. Yeah,
I don't know. And we're going to talk about it a little bit too, because some of the biggie studios are adamant about their tent pole. But that's what we've talked about, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Bradley Gallo on our interview last week said that he thought that theaters would just become event type, places.
Right.
And that's what I guess the studios, they're holding out on these tentpole movies instead of putting them on the streamer. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But one thing I was really happy to see, the DGA, the Directors Guild.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this on last week's show too, that a lot of the below the line crew is having a hard time right now because they work from project to project and they don't make a lot of money, and with everything shut down right now, they're hurting. And but the Directors Guild came out and said that they have secured at least 2 weeks' pay for all of the unit production managers and assistant directors, everybody that falls below the line. From the major studios, they have secured at least 2 weeks' pay for that, and they're working really hard to get the directors some assistance also that have been set aside on projects. Directors are above the line, so they make money. But this is good though. This is good.
Yeah, because putting it in everyday form, these guys are basically freelancers from project to project. Yeah. They live from project to project, so they need this.
They do, and but it's good to see their unions doing their job.
Yeah,
and representing and working out these deals with the studios. By the way, and kudos to the studios because they're hurting.
Yeah.
With no revenue coming in at all in these studios, they're hurting right now. So to pony up and pay, even if it's just 2 weeks, that's a big thing for the studios to do. So kudos to them for that.
Definitely. And I mean, we're talking about the studios, the mega juggernaut, like Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie. You see my Funkos up here. You see them. Disney Plus has officially launched in the UK, Ireland, Germany, Italy, Spain, Australia, Switzerland, with France joining the party on April 7th. So now everybody over there can enjoy the phenomenalness that is Disney Plus,
Yeah.
which is amazing. It's also including iOS, Android, with Amazon, and gaming consoles as well, like Xbox One, smart TVs, including LG and Samsung in the UK. Sky users can also get the app through Sky Q.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool because there was some question as to how limited it would be over there and to where you would have access to it. But apparently, whatever device you have, you're going to be able to get Disney Plus.
Basically.
So, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody who has kids is probably signing up for Disney Plus, honestly, because
absolutely.
with all this shit going on, like, Disney Plus is definitely the place to go, especially for, like, average grade school kids. Like, this is perfect for like their everyday TV time,
or just nostalgic old people like me.
Yeah.
How many people out there, our listeners, were fans of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends?
Yeah.
Right? Come on. You know you were. It's on Disney Plus under Marvel. Just go to the Marvel category and boom, you can watch some of your old '80s cartoons. How awesome is that? They really do have something for everybody on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
they really do. So that's cool.
Exactly. And as much as the television industry remains to be on hold amid this global production shutdown, animated series are still moving forward.
Yeah.
I mean, you got like The Simpsons, you got Bob's Burgers, Duncanville, Family Guy, like all that good stuff. It's moving forward, which makes sense because you really don't have to come in contact with people like face to face. And they have this awesome thing, this awesome program, I guess, that you can share each other's storyboards, so where everybody can stay in the loop and everything keeps moving forward. So I'm excited to see that move forward and to see if animation becomes more popular than what it is right now because of this.
Yeah, and I mean, because depending on how long this thing lasts, I mean, animation might be the only ones to move forward with new episodes.
Right.
I mean, we've talked about this relentlessly over the past couple of weeks, but so many productions are shut down that animation might literally be the only thing you're going to see new stuff of.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's definitely interesting.
For sure.
Yeah, like, and the shows you brought up, Simpsons, Bob's Burgers, Duncanville, they're still pumping out new episodes.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's where you got to go. And again, Disney Plus.
Yep.
A lot of that stuff's available on Disney Plus. And, I mean, just, you got to think about it, man.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited about this next one.
Oh,
they had a couple of huge casting announcements for The Mandalorian. Speaking of Disney Plus, right? I mean, we talked about this last week too. How many people signed up to Disney Plus just for The Mandalorian?
Exactly.
So, and now they're coming back or staying because of these two casting announcements. Rosario Dawson.
Yep.
And Michael Biehn.
Yes.
Both have been confirmed for season 2. I guess I heard, though, Rosario's not going to be a series regular.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many episodes she's going to be in. Could be like Ming-Na, where she was just in one, or something. But super excited. You think you kind of know who she's going to be. They haven't confirmed this yet, but you kind of have a bead on who you think she might be?
Yeah. I mean, this character is really well known and really well liked in the Clone Wars animated series. I really don't know how to pronounce her name, but Ashka Tano, probably wrong, but that is supposed to be Anakin Skywalker's Padawan. So they have a connection there, and we know that all of this takes place like after the stuff with Anakin turning into Darth Vader.
Yeah, it's like set 5 years past that, or so
exactly.
Yeah.
So she's gonna play part in that to see maybe helping against them trying to fight Darth Vader, or like I don't know. So I'm really interested to see what's gonna happen.
It makes sense. Well, while it hasn't been confirmed yet, it totally makes sense. They've already referenced the Clone Wars in the series.
Yeah.
So I mean, with the flashback scenes with Mando, they've already referenced the Clone Wars. So it would only make sense that something from that period comes into it. And then Michael Biehn, yes, that Michael Biehn, Terminator guys, the one who saved Sarah Connor, and Father John. What? Everybody forgets that. Michael Biehn is the father of John Connor, okay? Let's just say it. He's going to be in it, and I'm super excited about that. And rumor has it he's playing like a bounty hunter, and it's somebody from Mando's past. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's two huge names, dude. Like in the sci-fi world, Bean is huge.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and obviously Rosario Dawson is just rocking and rolling with all the Marvel stuff. And
exactly. Cory Booker is going to be a stormtrooper. I'm calling it right now. Cory Booker is going to be a stormtrooper.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
Right? Come on now. That'd be perfect.
Oh, my goodness. That would
be so good.
Good. Hell yeah. But get this, guys. Olivia Wilde, she's got a new film coming out. Perfect, about the Olympic gymnast Carrie Strug. Has pre-sold to Searchlight Pictures, and this one is going to be the hottest script on the market.
Yeah, this was in a big, huge bidding war. Like, all the biggies were going for it, and Fox Searchlight got it. Everybody wanted it. But, come on, it's Carrie Strug. Who doesn't remember that? She does the perfect landing and sticks it, but she's got, like, this busted leg.
Yeah.
And she does the whole routine and everything, and she goes over the horse and she sticks the landing and then immediately grabs her leg because she couldn't even stand, yet she sticks the landing and jumps into Bella's arms.
Exactly.
It's one of the most iconic Olympic moments ever.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really interesting. And I thought Booksmart was brilliant.
Yeah.
So I think Olivia Wilde has really proven herself as a director, and I think that's why this property was so hot in such a bidding war. I think everybody wanted it.
Yeah, so I definitely think she's going to be up there with like the Patty Jenkins and all those phenomenal female filmmakers. So I think she is definitely making some headway.
I agree with you.
I'm excited to see what she does.
No, I've always liked her as an actress.
Yeah.
I thought she's always been really talented, but I like the move behind the camera. I think she's got a lot of stories to tell. It's going to be fun to watch.
Agreed. Oh, I know you're
I'm not happy about this
one.
We talked about this last week, guys, all the shutdowns of production and all this kind of stuff, and this one's just like, ugh. Last week we told you that Batman, Warner Brothers had decided to halt production on the new Batman film with Zoe Kravitz and Matt Reeves' film, for 2 weeks. Well, Matt Reeves has confirmed that that's no longer the case. It looks like it's going past that 2 weeks. They are now halting it indefinitely until Warner Brothers gives them the okay that it's safe to come back to work.
I hate when they say indefinitely because it just makes it sound like it's never going to happen.
Yeah, and man, I was super pumped to see this one. And now if it doesn't start picking back up even until the end of the year, this is one of those films where it's going to be a lot of post.
Yeah.
And then how long is that going to delay the release of this film? Like, I know a lot of people, and it's already gone through all the crap with Ben Affleck pulling out and like the changes and then the recasting and all the kind of stuff, all the problems in pre-production and development that it's already seen, and now to go through this, ugh.
I know, it really freaking sucks because I wonder how far they actually got on this, and then are they going to be able to pick back up, or are they just going to have to completely start over? That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, it depends, I guess, on what they shot.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I was pumped. I was loving all the stuff we were seeing coming from the sets and everything.
The teaser shit was really nice. I really loved the fucking Batmobile. So
the Batmobile is a muscle car.
Yeah.
Like, it looked so badass.
Exactly.
And I can't say it enough. I really am excited about Zoe Kravitz' Catwoman.
Yeah.
I just think that's going to be phenomenal. I haven't been that excited since Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to be brilliant, and I'm kind of bummed.
Yeah. And Warner Brothers, they're pushing back a lot of stuff, especially the summer releases because of all this coronavirus. Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman, 1984, that's now moving its June 5th release date to August 14th. So, with that move, they did a lot of stuff. James Wan's horror movie, Malignant, is now off from August 14th and at an undated position. So I don't even know when that was going to come out.
They bumped him out for Wonder Woman 1984. So, but Scoob, there was a bunch of movies that had to be shifted because they were moving Wonder Woman. But that puts to rest any of those rumors. There were so many rumors out there that Wonder Woman was going to go to digital, that they were just going to put it on HBO Max or streaming or whatever. No, they made that perfectly clear. Absolutely not. Wonder Woman 1984 is going into theaters, and we're doing whatever we have to do that.
Yeah.
So then I guess in response, we won't see Black Widow everybody was kind of hoping that we would see it on Disney Plus, but it looks like they're going to hold up and say, well, if Wonder Woman's still going into theaters, Black Widow's still going to.
It's all about competing.
And so how we talked about this last week. How does that fuck with the Disney Plus Marvel shows that the movie is connected to? Who knows?
Because people might be confused by the shit.
Because it's all connected, and it was supposed to lead into
exactly.
Black Widow kicks off Phase 4.
Yeah.
So how do you introduce stuff in Phase 4 that comes after Black Widow if you haven't seen Black Widow yet? That's going to fuck everything.
Exactly.
Up,
they did a lot of changing, but Christopher Nolan's Tenet is not being moved. It's staying at that July 17th anticipation global theatrical release date.
So. Yeah, because they think, I guess, that, on a global scale, things might start calming down a little bit. So, that's a gamble for sure. But, I mean, what are you going to do?
I know.
I mean, you got to... Ooh, this next one I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Titans. Are you guys fans of Titans? Hell yeah, you are. Like season 3, we all know it's coming, right? Apparently a casting notice went out, and it looks like a really obscure character is coming to Titans. And basically, like, if you don't know anything about the comic books, if you're just going strictly from the show and you've never read Teen Titans or New Teen Titans, you probably won't have no idea who this person is, but it's really exciting. So I don't want to mess it up. It is Daniel, a 16 to 17-year-old who comes from a rough background and is a prodigy with a knack for detective work. Now, if you're a fan of the comic books, you know that sounds an awful lot like Danny Chase, Phantasm. So Marv Wolfman created him with Mike Collins, and he first appeared way back in '87 in the New Teen Titans Annual #2. So I'm pumped because huge collector. I have all of the New Teen Titans books. And little fact, New Teen Titans very first comic book I ever bought on my own. It was like my very first comic book. New Teen Titans #1. Marv Wolfman, George Perez. That's why I love the show so much, man. So I'm super pumped about this. They're changing him a little bit. He's going to be Asian instead of Caucasian.
Yeah.
They're looking for an Asian actor. And he didn't necessarily come from a rough background in the comic books. His family were like scientists and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but Titans is edgy. So they're making him obviously a little bit more edgy, but I love it.
Yeah, it sounds like someone that's gonna team up with Dick Grayson.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they've already brought in Superboy. I really like how they're introducing characters from all over. I wouldn't be surprised if they've made reference to Roy.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see Speedy at some point come in. It's a nice blend of the new Teen Titans, but also the original Titans, the original Teen Titans. So I love this show, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
They're doing some great work, honestly. More exciting things for the DC fandom. The CW will be re-airing the huge crossover event Crisis on Infinite Earths in April, giving the fans an opportunity to experience the end of the Arrowverse as we know it.
Yes, it was a brilliant crossover event. I always like all their crossovers, but this one, again, being a huge comic book geek, obviously the Crisis on Infinite Earths was like a massive comic book, huge event, and just I thought they did it brilliantly.
Yeah.
I absolutely thought they did. Marv Wolfman was even involved in it. He wrote part of it, and if you don't know, that's twice now we've dropped Marv. But he wrote Crisis on Infinite Earths, so he even had a cameo in it. So it was just brilliant.
Yeah, and it seems like they're reworking a lot of their release schedules as well, because it looks like on Monday an announcement came out that March 23rd, the last episode of Supernatural will be coming out for the time being.
Yes. And, I mean, because of Crisis, a lot of stuff's going to be preempted, too. Riverdale, Katie Keene, and Legacies are all going to be preempted while they air Crisis.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Obviously, Crisis was huge in the ratings for them. The crossovers always are, so I'm guessing they're trying to capitalize not only on people being home and watching, but then also putting their high-rated stuff on there.
For sure.
So, I mean, but watch this, guys. If you haven't watched it, fucking watch it. It's brilliant. And it's goodbye, Ollie Queen. This is the end for Arrow. So, Green Arrow. So, it's so good. So good.
So good. Now this next thing, Warner Brothers is doing an interesting thing with HBO stars, all this good stuff. They're basically like giving you a free trial once for one thing, and then the next week's going to be for another thing. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So they're breaking it up. They're giving away all their free, their premium channels for free.
Yeah.
Basically. So, but they're breaking it up. You can't have them all at once. So, okay. Just to give you an example, this one's already started. It started yesterday. So, from till April 4th, you can watch Stars for free. And then Epics will be from April 4th to April 16th. HBO and Cinemax from April 17th to April 20th. So there you go.
Interesting.
This is all coinciding. They're getting ready to launch HBO Max.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they're trying to get people pumped up with all of their premium content, and say, hey, woo, come check this out for free, kind of a thing. I don't like the staggered thing. Just make them all available.
Exactly. I think it would be really smart for the streaming service, at least while in quarantine, make all of them free for that free trial, and then when everything gets back up and running, see who sticks around. I feel like that might be a smart idea.
Yeah, exactly. And they're already seeing, because of coronavirus, huge increases. Like just since last Saturday, the 40% increase from its 4-week-to-week numbers. Like that's huge. 65% of the prior weeks on HBO series, movie viewing on HBO is up 70% from the 4-week prior. So they're already seeing huge increases.
Exactly.
So yeah, like you said, see who sticks around if you give it to them for free. These numbers, guys, those 65%, 70%, and 40% jumps, that's without it being free.
Exactly.
So think about what that could be when they do it for free. Man, I don't know. I don't like the staggered thing though. I don't like it.
It's really going to be interesting. I don't know what they're going to do with all that, but CBS is kind of doing the same thing.
Make it so, number one.
Yeah, sure, why not?
What? I was a Star Trek Next Generation guy. Picard, man. First of all, if you haven't checked out Star Trek Discovery on CBS All Access, you should have already had CBS All Access for that. That show kicks ass.
Yeah.
But Picard, so freaking good. Yes, Jean-Luc Picard is back, y'all. And it's a lot of the original cast members have cameoed on it. 7 and 9 from Deep Space Nine is on there, and just so much cool shit. The season finale is already coming up. I can't even believe that. The season finale is already coming up. And Sir Patrick Stewart himself gave a little gift so that you can watch the Picard series and catch the season finale. He gave a little gift. If you put in the gift coupon Picard, you get a full month, all the way until I think April 23rd of CBS All Access for free. Just by putting Picard in there. You get a whole month for free, and you can watch all that. So you can watch Star Trek Discovery, you can watch Picard, The Good Fight. Like, they got a lot of great shit on there.
Fucking Survivor.
So, yeah, seriously, it's one of my favorites. It's not real expensive if you decide to keep it after the month either. And the content is great.
Yeah.
So, I'd say
rumor
go
has
for
it this is going to be his last season, right?
That's the rumor. I don't know, because they're kind of hinting that maybe a brain transference is going to take place, and if that is the case, then maybe we see a younger actor take over as Picard, which. A lot of people are already joking that they can't see anybody really doing it unless what's his face that from the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would be awesome. Sense. But I don't know. Why sign up for it and be all excited about coming back if you're only going to do it for a season?
Yeah.
I feel like they're playing with us. They're toying with us.
Yeah, like maybe, I don't know, maybe some flashback scenes. That's really popular right now. Maybe some flashback scenes of when he was Patrick Stewart and now a different guy. So, I don't know. Maybe
Or maybe we just see the different actors, just the technology. Maybe they young up Sir Patrick and he still voices it and it's still him. They just use the technology to make him look like a different body.
Yeah.
That's possible too.
Yeah.
We don't know.
And using our handy dandy IMDb Pro app, James McAvoy.
James McAvoy. Yes, that's the guy. He would be cool. I would like to see him as a young Picard, but I like Sir Patrick.
I know.
I'm just saying.
He's just getting up there.
He is. But this show is a lot more heavy drama driven and dialogue driven. It's not like, he's still doing all the robust action stuff. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's really going to be interesting. And I'm sure everybody has seen this last week that the Olympics got postponed a whole year. Like, 2021 is when it's going to happen, but they're going to call it the 2020 Olympics. But this is a huge impact on the ad revenue sales, like, which is super crazy. NBC Universal said it's working with advertisers on the fate of the 1.25 billion, that's a B, in ad sales already committed to the postponed Tokyo Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of money to possibly lose out on. And I mean, NBC, of course, declined to comment on the financial hit beyond the statement, but yeah, that's that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and the fact that they refused to comment, they said beyond this statement, implies that it might be even bigger than the 1.25 billion.
That's scary.
But that makes sense. I mean, everybody watches the Olympics, and they're on for like weeks, and so that's a lot of advertising revenue that NBC Universal is going to lose.
Yeah.
Comcast cannot be happy about that.
No, for sure.
They just cannot. And they follow Disney, by the way. They sent out, and they were selling some stuff to relieve debt also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they sold some bonds and stuff just like Disney. I think they raised like $4 billion. I would have to assume partly because of this.
For sure.
I mean, yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, they own NBC Universal, Comcast does. And, I mean, that's a hit they're taking. So you got to, like Disney, they got to raise that money to cover that debt. So
yeah, man, super wild.
This next one, though, this has been long rumored, right? Long rumored. And it is going to happen.
Yeah.
Across network, CBS, NBC. Dick Wolf.
Dick Wolf.
Yes.
Wolf Dick.
Yes. Whoa. Ow! I don't know.
I don't know.
Sorry, Dick. We're sorry, Mr. Wolf.
Yeah,
still come on the show.
You still come on the show.
Are you a fan of Chicago PD or any of the Chicago shows? Chicago PD, though, this is the story. And FBI, right? If you're a fan of those shows, both by Dick Wolf, they're doing a crossover.
Yeah, man.
They set it up on this most recent episode of Chicago PD. I'm super excited about this. It was long in the rumor going to happen.
Yeah.
And there was some question, like, could they make it happen because of the two networks are owned, obviously, by different people.
Right.
And so there's a lot of stuff. I know everybody kind of came out when they said, oh, it's this CBS has done it before, though. They did it when Supergirl was on CBS, and they did a crossover with Flash on the CW. But newsflash, CBS at that point owned part of the CW, so it was kind of like, okay, it was still same company. This is totally different. This is like Comcast owned NBC and CBS Viacom owned CBS, crossing over. So I'm super excited about this, though. I'm a huge Dick Wolf fan. Law and Order, the Chicago stuff. It's all brilliant, so I can't wait to see this one.
I wonder how in-depth the legality went into all of this. And
I don't know.
What network will it show on? Will it show on both networks, or will it show on one or the other?
Well, you had to watch, because like I said, it kicked off on NBC with Chicago PD, and now the next part of it is over on CBS. So, I mean, I guess you're going to have to. Now, will they ever air on? But I don't know. That's an excellent question. But
it's like you get the rights to this episode, we get the rights to this episode.
Right.
So
Dick Wolf's been doing this forever, though. When he had Homicide on, like way back in the day, he would do crossovers with Law and Order SVU, and and in fact, a couple of the characters from Homicide became part of the cast of SVU when Homicide went off.
Yeah.
So he's classic at merging all these shows and doing crossovers, but it's never been two different networks before. So, and my guess would be with the legalities, it's like neither one wants to lose Dick Wolf.
Exactly.
So I bet both CBS's lawyers and NBC's lawyers, like whatever the fuck it takes, because we just talked about this, a couple of weeks ago, that NBC just signed a huge new mega deal with Dick Wolf for all of the, Chicago shows and the Law and Order shows and stuff. So they don't want to lose him. Yeah. And I'm guessing FBI and the FBI spinoff are doing really well for CBS. So they're like, fuck that. We don't want to lose him. So.
Yeah.
That's probably how that went down.
Exactly.
Like, whatever it takes,
whatever
get it done.
It takes.
He wants a fucking crossover, do the crossover.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
this next one doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, everybody's just kind of following suit, it seems like. Netflix Chief Content Officer Ted Sarandos, the man himself.
Yeah.
The company says the company works pretty far ahead on delivering new shows, and so don't expect any disruption on new content coming to Netflix anytime soon. Yeah, over the next few months at least. And also, he said that Netflix has offered 2 weeks' pay for the workers on productions that had shut down, and trying to keep productivity for as most employees as possible. And he's also offering people to work from home.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and this is on top of they just announced. Last week we talked about it also, that $100 million fund to
right.
help pay for some of the performers and stuff. So on top of the already $100 million that they had committed, they're doing this now, paying for the couple of weeks, and
Exactly.
it makes sense. Netflix is one of the only entertainment stocks that has actually gone up instead of down during the crisis,
Shit.
which makes sense because they're a streamer and that's where
Yeah.
everybody's at right now. So that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
and I mean, it says the Netflix has also started paying the cast members on shows that have been affected by the coronavirus, which is being treated as a forced measure for the foreseeable circumstances. Actors on series which are filming or about to go into production at time everything was put on hold are receiving their minimum guarantees. So at least they are still getting some revenue coming in because, I mean, there's a lot of people that are just... That's it. Not receiving anything.
Dude, that could be like literally tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
Because some of these minimum guarantees, like if you were on, say, Stranger Things, season 4, and you're committed to all 10 episodes, and you're making, such and such million per episode. That's what they mean. Like your minimum amount that you were guaranteed. That's what you're gonna. That's a lot of money, man. But good for them, though. Yeah. They're benefiting. Like I said, their stock has been up. They're benefiting from people being at home and watching more Netflix. So, they should be paying.
Yeah, and they're happy over there because less than a week after Netflix and Ava DuVernay were sued by ex-prosecutor depicted for a defamation, basically.
Yeah,
they won another trial, right?
Yeah. This one was really weird, though. This trial was basically from a company that basically came up with the interrogation process that was used against these people in in the Central Park 5. And they said that the movie depicted it in some sort of like all wrong kind of a way, and that it was bad and incorrect, and so the company that created this interrogation process said, that's not how it goes down. We can't, and they sued them for like improperly using the technique or saying how the technique was used or whatever. The judge threw the shit completely out, like on its ass, like said the First Amendment protects all that. This is fiction. They in no way implied that your company was a part of this or that. And even though the company did create the interrogation, that the thing in the movie was fictional.
Yeah.
And that's protected by the First Amendment. And it was just like tossed right the fuck out.
Makes sense. But this, I think it sets precedent for that next upcoming trial for the prosecutor.
I think it does. The First Amendment gives a lot of leeway with fictional interpretations of real life stuff. So, and obviously Netflix's lawyers are gonna tout that.
Hell yeah.
Because I would assume the same lawyers are gonna take on this next case that was just filed too. So, I think you're right. I think we're gonna see another win, and I think Ava and them are gonna be okay.
Hell yeah. And the last thing with Netflix, this is honestly by no surprise to me because I feel like they are trying to produce more family-friendly content, especially while the whole family is at home. So they've given a series order to Angry Birds Summer Madness based on the iconic world of Angry Birds from Cake and Rivio Entertainment. Set for a global premiere in 2021.
Yep, and they're the same. That's the company that did the Angry Birds movies.
Yeah.
And so it's going to have the same look and feel as the movies and everything. And again, we just talked about this. Animation. Animation is killing it right now. Exactly. They can continue to keep doing animation. So this only makes sense that they get this deal done and move forward with this. So we'll keep an eye on that. Netflix is really popular, and Angry Birds is really popular, so I think this will be a hit for them. And like you said, they are trying to make a hard move into the children's programming, so it's going to be interesting.
Hell yeah. Oh my goodness. AMC, by no surprise, has announced that the season 10 finale of The Walking Dead will not air at its scheduled time because we are living it.
It's true.
With the post-production delayed due to the coronavirus shutdown, the current season will end on the 15th episode on April 5th, and the finale will now appear as a special episode later in the year. AMC said that it will also offer first 8 episodes of Season 10 free on AMC.com and the AMC app after April 5th episode, and that will go through May 1st.
And which is, again, this is like one of those strange things because, okay, so they're going to end the season with the April 5th episode and push back what was supposed to be the season finale.
Yeah.
But this whole season, they've been setting up the big Rick movie.
Exactly.
Remember, there's going to be a Walking Dead theatrical movie, and Rick is going to be in it. And Michonne left last week, and they hinted that her and Rick are going to hook back up. This is all going to be kind of big thing. And that was, I mean, all of this has been leading to the season finale, which sets up this theatrical movie kind of stuff. So now what? You're going to end it on April 5th's episode and then just, oh yeah, we'll just throw that season finale somewhere later on this year. Like, how is that going to like play with the whole movie thing? Like, I don't know.
I'm surprised that they lasted this long. I'm just saying, after Carl died, it went downhill. Then now Negan's a good guy. And it's just so fucking weird.
It's really kind of just not the same show.
No.
It's not the same show.
It used to be like the hot thing. Everybody was talking about it anywhere you went. And now, like, no one really ever talks about this show anymore.
And you know what? And where I think it was kind of like it kind of lost a little steam is when Negan killed Glenn.
Yeah.
But my thing is that everybody was all like super pumped about Negan coming on the show. And if you were a fan of the graphic novel, you knew exactly what was going to happen. You knew what Negan was going to do, and you knew how he was going to do it. And everybody was like, and then they got pissed when he did it.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? And then, because like then the ratings started to tank. Oh, it's too violent. It was grisly. It's like, that's what it fucking, you knew this is what was going to happen. And it just seems like ever since then they didn't do the relationship between Negan and Carl, which everybody was also excited about, but it didn't happen. And then Carl dies, which wasn't supposed to happen. Carl was supposed to take over so I can see why it's kind of died.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they really do move forward with the movies and if that will actually happen. And if the movie flops, I think the whole thing is just going to be done.
I mean, yeah, because we've already talked about that they've got 2 or 3 more spin-offs coming.
Exactly.
Like, but what happens if the movie fails? Do the spin-offs at that point? Like, I don't know. Maybe you should have just put it all to bed like a while ago, I think.
Exactly. AMC is doing some other stuff. They have green-lit National Anthem, an 8-episode musical dramedy anthology series. So they're trying to follow Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
Yeah, and the premise even sounds like it's about a family who's like at the top, and they're kind of like, I guess, having a rough time, and they're falling back into society and trying to recoup from this like rough ride that they're, and they do it through bursting into song routines while they're doing. It sounds very familiar. Just like. Zoe's is already doing that.
Exactly.
And they're doing it brilliantly. Do we need another show that's bursting into song with their... I don't know. I don't know. And not from AMC.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
What's next?
Really
a fucking
weird.
Walking Dead musical episode?
Yeah.
Like, no.
God.
Nobody wants to see that.
That would be so bad.
I don't want to see that.
No, nor do I. But this is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre, his debut solo album, The Chronic, is now being archived in the Library of Congress.
Yes.
All right. The National Recording Registry announced that Dr. Dre's classic has been among the latest musical releases to be considered of worthy preservation due to the importance of the cultural, historical, and just amazing nature of the culture.
Yeah, and for anybody who's not familiar with it, the Library of Congress houses all kinds of music, all kinds of films, all kinds of television shows that they feel like made an impact on society and culture and should be preserved for everybody to see in the history of this country down the line long after we're gone. And Dr. Dre is part of that.
That's epic.
So, it is. And come on, Chronic definitely had an impact on culture. It basically changed everything, from that standpoint as far as hip hop went. And it's a brilliant album.
Agreed.
So, yeah, well, congratulations, Dre.
Fucking epic.
But
now it is time for our guest segment, guys. We teased it at the beginning of the episode. We got the one and only Skyler Day coming on the show to talk about her career, her music, everything and anything possible. She is just a phenomenal guest. I can't wait till the up and comers listen to her because she's pretty established. She's established.
She is, but very grounded.
Exactly.
Like, she's still so, and you'll hear it throughout the interview. She's so humble.
Yeah.
Like, she's had all the success, and like, guys, when you get picked for like one episode and then they expand the character and keep you around for 3 years, that's part to your performance in the role. And she's just so humble about, oh no, it's just every time I was like, oh, you're calling me back.
Yeah,
it's good stuff, man. It's really good stuff.
Seriously, can't wait for everybody to hear it. Well, here she is.
Skyler Day, welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm. How are you today?
I am just dandy. How are you?
We're doing awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, we've got a lot of listeners, and ourselves included, that are huge fans of Parenthood and The Resident and so much stuff that you've got going on.
Don't forget about Grey's. That's a whole war against me and him for medical dramas. I'm a Grey's person. He's a Residence person. So
it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. So you're one of the our second guest, I think, that's been in that little, that's been on both, and we've had so.
Really?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So, and of course, we're going to be talking about the music career because we know you're heavily into the music also and have released several EPs. So that's going to be exciting. So, but what we first like to do is kind of introduce you to all of our listeners a little bit by having you kind of talk about how you got started in the industry and how that kind of all came about. Is it something that you knew you always kind of wanted to do, or did you kind of fall into it, or talk about that a little bit? How'd you get started?
Oh yeah, I definitely knew from a very young age that I wanted to do both music and acting. And it's funny, I got into acting. So I started doing commercials in print when I was like 6 years old.
Oh wow!
And yeah, I have no idea how I got into that actually, but my parents are actually they're from the gymnastics world. We had a gymnastics training center.
Oh, okay.
My parents ran when we lived in Georgia. And that's where I was born and raised, and then we ended up meeting an agent at the DMV. So that was kind of random.
Yes, of all places, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently I decided to sing to this person because I was bored. I don't remember any of this, but that's the story. And then I became very determined that I wanted to be an actor and I needed an agent. And then so that's the commercial side of it. And then when I was 10, I told my parents that I wanted to get into, film and TV. I was a very determined little thing. Film and TV, and so I was like, if I get an agent, and then if I book the lead in a film by the time I'm 11, I was 10 at the time, then we would have to move to LA so I could pursue my career.
Well, and that's very ambitious, clearly.
Oh yeah, I ended up doing it though, and then we moved 2 years later.
Wow, you go. At 10, that's like fantastic. 10 or 11 years old, that's just crazy.
Yeah. So that's how I started. Thankfully, I had supportive parents, so it's because otherwise I might still be back in Georgia doing who knows what.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Georgia, it's one of the entertainment capitals of the country right now, especially Atlanta. I mean, you got so many productions that are LA based but are filming in Georgia. You got so many TV shows, especially like The Resident that's filming in Georgia. The
Resident's back in Georgia, yeah, which is it's so awesome to go home. And that's so cool. And it's so funny because when I left, I was 13, and that was kind of when the film and TV industry in Atlanta was really starting to jump off, which is hilarious because the very first thing that I booked when I moved to LA, I had to go back to Atlanta for, which was slightly confusing for me.
Right.
I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So you mentioned you did a lot of commercial work and voiceover work, right? So,
just during that, a couple of years,
All right. So what we definitely want to jump in and talk about Parenthood because man, the storyline on Parenthood was intense and by far one of my favorite storylines of the show for sure. Let's talk about that. How'd that all come about? How'd you get involved in Parenthood?
Oh my gosh, I love that show. I miss it so much.
Right.
Us too.
Oh my god, I'm like, come back. Well, I just had an audition for it, and went in, I think I did a pre-read for it, which is just with the casting director, and then got a call back for. At the time, it was only supposed to be a 3-episode arc.
Right.
Which is awesome because it turned into 3 seasons. But I just had an audition with Miles, which was awesome. I went in for producers and met with Miles, and it's interesting because most of it is the script is written, but a lot of it was improvised.
Right.
It's kind of like you get the script, but then how you get it, you can get from A to B however you please.
Oh, very nice.
Which was awesome. I did not know that going into the audition, so suddenly they're like, cool, now, just do your thing. I'm like, okay, what is that? What do you mean?
Right,
and
what does this mean?
Oh, yeah, I was terrified because I was like, oh my God. Because usually, on most things, if you change a word here or there, they'll, come and correct you. So
right.
Having that freedom was pretty awesome, but at first startling because I was like, are you telling me that, am I actually supposed to be doing this? But then Miles just went off on this whole tangent, and I was like, oh, we're genuinely improvising on a drama, which is so cool. I had such a blast during that audition.
Was that able to carry over? I mean, did you have a lot of free, ability to improvise a bit on the actual filming of the show as well?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, which my first day on set, I didn't assume that I thought that was just for the audition. Mm-hmm. I just assumed that was to see if we had chemistry or,
right.
Which would make sense. But when we got on set, it was kind of like, all right, guys, do as you please. And of course there were, they have to keep us within a certain,
right.
We have to stay within the lines of the script and everything. But yeah, we had so much freedom, which is, I think, why, Parenthood just has this feeling to it, which it feels so real, and why you feel like you're watching your family in a way.
Right.
And I think it's because, they're not worried about you running over another person's line, and you're not, it doesn't have a sort of rigidness of a lot of TV where, it's, you just have to stay within these parameters, and it's very strict, and so that was amazing.
So I'm guessing, since it was only supposed to be a 3-episode arc to start out, you didn't know where it was headed down the line with the storyline that eventually came out. What was that like? I mean, did you have some input as to where Amy was going, or how Amy was going to develop with the storyline? Were you able to input some stuff in there? Or?
No, I was just happy to have a job.
Right.
Every time they called me back, I was like, oh, really? You want me back again? That's awesome. Yeah, because, again, it was supposed to be 3 episodes, so I knew, we would meet, and then we would have a date, and then I'm like, they could have easily just, gotten rid of that storyline. Oh, the date didn't go well. Well, moving on, So I definitely did not have any clue. And I remember the episode with the abortion, which was like, that was the whole thing. I got a text from Miles, and he's like, "You're pregnant." He had only read the first half.
Oh my goodness!
And I was like, "Oh my God, yay!" Because I was thinking, like, maybe I'll get pregnant, then we're gonna have a baby,
right?
And it's gonna be this whole thing. And then when it was one and done, I was like, no. Oh my gosh! But yeah, so I had no idea the trajectory of Amy and Drew at all.
Kind of an intense storyline, and controversial back at that point, though. I mean, you're talking about, the abortion and Miles, character Drew wanting it, and how does that all go down? It's accidental to begin with, and that's one of the things I really enjoyed about Parenthood, is that they weren't scared to touch on subjects that were going to get people to talk.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, they really, and it's cool because it's. That was such a touchy storyline, but they handled it in such a way where you got to see every side of it, and I thought that was so smart. And it was really cool because Peter Krause directed that episode.
Oh, yeah.
Even more
better. Did not know
that. Was amazing. Yeah, to have because it was a pretty intense, episode to have an actor like him be a part of that in that way was really helpful, really cool.
Talk about that a little bit, the cast, because it had to be one of the most phenomenal casts on television. I mean, yeah, seriously, I can't imagine anybody better for any of the roles. What was it like being on a set? Because you came in, like you said, season 3, it's already established. They've got this family, and you brought up a really good point. This is like a family dynamic where it truly felt that way, like you're watching your own family. So what was it like walking into that and kind of, meeting everybody and kind of like, okay, here I am, and kind of coming in?
Well, it's interesting because coming in as even as a recurring, you're still a guest star every episode. You're a guest star, so you're essentially a guest in someone else's house, and that's kind of how it feels with most everything I've ever done. I'm coming in and I'm the new kid in school, so it can be a nerve-wracking thing, especially when it's been established. It's different if you're coming on in the first season and everyone's still getting their establishing themselves in this kind of camp that you're creating.
Right.
But yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking at first coming onto that set with because I had watched the show, so I was like, oh god, there's Dax and there's that, but everyone was incredible. Oh my gosh. I remember sitting down next to Monica Potter the first time I met her when we were sitting down in the makeup chair, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, do I introduce myself? I mean, this is her house. This isn't my house, so should I introduce myself? Does she introduce? And I'm sitting there like having a complete meltdown as I'm trying to figure out how to be a human. And she was just trying to and says something, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. We're all human beings here.
Right?
I can stop freaking out. It's all good. Like, you need to chill. But it was great. And what's so cool about being on a set with that many amazing actors is you just feel safe in the sense of that every episode is going to be amazing. That it's just what you guys are doing is going to be great, and that's a really cool feeling because when you go on something new, you don't know. I mean, it could be shit.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so that's a really cool feeling, just knowing that, having that kind of that feeling is great.
Yeah, that's kind of what we had Jason Ritter on the show, and that's kind of how he felt too. He felt like he became like part of the family, and he wanted to just keep coming back each week so he could be like just a part of this, especially with Laura and Graham because they were dynamic. Just freaking phenomenal. So, but yeah, I feel like that chemistry that you and Miles had together was just that made part of the show for those couple of seasons. Like, it was so good. Everybody tuned in to watch what was going to happen between you two. So, kudos to you because it was just phenomenal acting and phenomenal chemistry between you and him.
Thank you. And Miles is just incredible.
Yeah,
agreed. He's so he broke during the episode about the pregnancy. He broke my heart. Oh my god, that last scene when he goes and hugs Lauren Graham. I'm just like, oh my god, this is. I texted him after that. And I was like, oh my Jesus Lord, oh my god,
right?
So good. He's so good. I'm so excited for everything he's doing.
Oh yeah, he's just kind of blown up since the show.
Killing it. Oh yeah.
So that's awesome. Well, we got to talk about it a little bit because there's always rumblings, and Jason himself has said that it's a possibility, of the revival, to find out where everybody's at or how's it going, now that Zeke has passed and where's everybody at in life. Are you totally down for that? Could we see Amy come back?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I'm like, let's do it. Let's get her. I will rally everyone. What do I need to do?
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. Oh yeah, that would be amazing.
I think we all agree that we want to see that. I mean, they say let's wait a certain amount of time. We don't want to do it too soon, but we don't want to wait too long. And I think the time is now. I think people want to know what's happening with the Bravermans. I do. So.
Exactly. Well, in my opinion, I'm just gonna say it might take some heat for it, but I think this is Us is a little tiny bit of a ripoff of Parenthood because I might take a little heat from that, but I'm just saying because Parenthood was the first show I ever watched that I literally cried every single episode.
Agreed.
Yes.
So, and I mean, I feel like This Is Us is kind of following in the footsteps of that.
I feel like a lot of people have that Yeah.
I just remember, I do. I remember the finale of Parenthood, and I don't think it was 5 minutes in. I was bawling like a baby the entire episode. I was like, because, I mean, let's be honest about it, and maybe it's always fun to talk to somebody that was actually on the show, but that was also a fan of the show before they were on the show.
Exactly.
I mean, they set up from damn near the beginning that Zeke was going to die.
Yeah.
So you kind of knew this was where it was going, and yet it still hits you, and you're like, damn. Like,
I know.
So good.
It was a heartbreaker.
All right.
And just the fact that the show is ending at all, it feels like you're like, your best friend is moving away or something.
Right.
Yes. You always have that little gap, that void for a couple of seasons. You're like, what's my go-to now? Because this was my go-to. Like,
Yeah.
So
exactly.
All right. Well, we'll just start the
campaign. We're going to bring it back.
Exactly. We're going to start the campaign right now to get Parenthood back on the air. We just, even if it's for just like one season, like they did with Gilmore or something, just come back. Let's
like
see where
a little revival special limited series. It'd be phenomenal.
It would be.
I like it.
And you and Drew have to be together. Somehow, some way that all works, and you guys are together. We just have to have that happen.
Yes.
It's got to happen.
All right. So now let's start our little war because Logan, like he said, he's a huge Grey's Anatomy's fan.
I am.
And I was a Grey's Anatomy fan too. I'm not going to say I don't enjoy the show. I do enjoy the show. But I found The Resident, and I'm just like hooked on The Resident. So when you pop up, I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's Amy. Right? I'm like, yes! And the character is so fun. I mean, the first scene when you're just like, you basically just drop and you're like, I can't do this. What am I even here for? So good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I love it. Go on. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, talk about that because, it was kind of like another one of those, you're coming in, it's an established family, and you're jumping right into like this intense character. So talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. And this is another one of those, this was just really supposed to be a guest star that I auditioned for it and went to Georgia, shot it, came back, and then they suddenly asked me to do another one, and I was like, okay, like, this is great. So, and then I actually just did another one. So it's so awesome when that happens. Cause it's just the coolest thing. But Emily Van Camp is the best.
I bet that scene was just incredible.
Yeah, I absolutely love her. And so, I mean, it was oddly easy to walk onto that set. Really? Which was great because of Emily, but also I had the director of that episode is Kelly Williams, who played my mother on my arc on Army Wives way back.
Wow, nice. Okay.
I didn't even know when that was, but so that was cool. So I was surrounded by these awesome ladies, and it was great. I loved it, and getting to go home it was just like a really easy set to walk on, which is not always the case. So it was great. So,
but I did hear you correct. We are going to see more of Clara. You are coming back.
Yes.
Boom. Fantastic.
Yes. Unless after this one they're like, and then she disappeared forever. But that could very well happen.
No, it could.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that I'm. I don't even know. Oops.
Well, it's breaking news here.
Right. You know.
I'm thrilled though because I love the character and I do want to see how it progresses. I mean, the last episode you were in was again intense. I mean, let's pull over on the side of the road and just die under a tree. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because Tuesday, it's fine.
Yeah, it's like she just got her grip. She just figured out, okay, I can do this, and then this is what happens next. Like, oh my God, good stuff though. It's good stuff. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. And even with Grey's Anatomy, you were on there, I think, the prime time for that show because that's when all the all-stars were still there. I mean, you still had Arizona, you still had Calliope, you still had Justin Chambers, like, bouncing around with names, obviously. But you were on there for the prime time. Now I feel like, I mean, it's showing its age a little bit. I'm not going to lie. But what was it like to be on that set? That one's just like a well-oiled machine. So what was it like to come on that one?
That one was pretty terrifying.
Oh, I bet. I can imagine.
You know, it's Grey's. There's just all you have to say is Grey's, and people know that show is so iconic. So yeah, that one. I remember the audition for that one. I had to like scream my head off.
Yeah.
Going on to that set, yeah, that was pretty nerve-wracking. But I mainly remember laying in that hospital bed with like do you remember in the very beginning of the episode my leg is like cut open and splayed out everywhere? That was meat. And
my goodness.
Nasty. So I mainly remember getting meat like rolled over all over the hospital bed and being like, okay, never had this. I love all the different experiences I get to have.
Right,
exactly. And we love hearing about all those experiences. It's so awesome to be able to do what you do. And I see a little trend, though. You see where you start off, it's supposed to be just an episode, but then you pop up again, and they start becoming recurring. I think that's a credit to what you do with the characters. So,
thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
that's. I've been lucky enough to have that happen handful of times. I did that on Pretty Little Liars and. Yeah, a handful of other things. So that's the best. It feels that's a very nice phone call.
I can imagine.
And you're like, wait, what? Well, and then you're like, this is a joke, but okay.
She's so humble. I love that.
She is.
But I mean, again, seriously though, huge kudos to you. I think it's what you've been able to do and your ability and skill as an actor to take the role and progress it. And of course, they're going to call back because they want to see more of it. So I'm thrilled, like I said, that you're going to be back on The Resident and everything. But you're not. Let's not stop at the acting. You're also a musician and songwriter.
Yes.
So let's talk about that because I mean you've released several EPs and I saw this and correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw that you submitted to a contest and you were like handpicked by Casey Musgraves. Is that right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah. That she is my just ultimate. I love her so much. Yes. That happened last year. I submitted my music. I saw on her Instagram that she was partnering with this thing called Empowered by Biz, which is Bumble Biz is it's a networking app. It's from the same thing as like the Bumble dating app, but this is purely for networking, which is it's really, really cool. And so I submitted my music through them, and basically the contest was to win a mentorship session with her, go to Austin City Limits Festival, and get to sit down with her and pick her brain about music. And I submitted. I was like, well, this would be great because I love her, but thousands of people were submitting, so I submitted and then forgot about it, and then I got an email, and I about lost my mind. I thought it was a joke. This seems to be my thing. I was like, wait a minute, is this that email that you get that says like, thanks for submitting, we appreciate it, and goodbye. But so I got to go to Austin City Limits and sit down with her right before she went on to perform. She was headlining, and it was just the coolest. She's the greatest.
So exciting.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. So do you see yourself moving forward in the music industry as well? Is that something you're going to try to balance with the acting and try to pursue both still? Or do you see yourself you don't see yourself leaning one way or the other? Or?
No, and it's interesting because people always want me to choose, but that's always the question. It's like, which one? I'm like, that's like choosing. It's like having twins and then having to pick which one you want.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, no, these are my children. They need the exact same. They were born at the same time.
Right.
I fell in love with music and acting simultaneously, and I started writing songs when I was 10. I picked up the guitar when I was 14.
Oh, wow.
And I've been performing and writing and releasing music for a really long time, and so it's always been there for me. And you know, the acting world is so up and down, and it's so crazy, and there's not much you can control. And music is something I can be absolutely like held by in a way. It's my thing I can turn to at all times, which is, it's been amazing. You know, I can go write a song at any point, and it's not as easy to be like, all right, I'm going to head to a set anywhere.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, there are a lot of things that have to happen in order for an acting job to happen. And then with music, I can just sit in a room and create something, which is cool.
Yeah, that's and completely self-taught. You said you picked up the guitar. It was all self-taught?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, I just looked up things on YouTube, songs on YouTube, and learned how to play them. My brother, I have a twin brother, and he also picked up the guitar at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So we kind of helped each other.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, so you have a twin brother. Oh, cool.
Yeah, right. Learning everything.
Yeah, he's a
learning something
musician
new
as
every day.
well.
Oh, okay. So the ideal situation, I think, I mean, let's just put this out there for the world to hear anyway. You should totally be like in a series about a musician, because you could do the best of both worlds, and I think it would be fantastic.
Exactly.
I'd be so down for that.
You write some of your own music for the series and everything. It would be fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And I mean, I love the music. Honestly, it gives me this Sarah Bareilles vibe, like really mellow, really easy to listen to. I just love what you're doing with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Of course,
Thank
of course.
So, what advice? Because you just seem so humble and so down to earth and put together, and you have like this great positive attitude about everything that you've kind of gone through in the process. Even just now talking about how things you can and can't control and everything. So, what advice would you give to people who are trying to break into the industry, be it the music or the acting side, that you've found useful, and what pitfalls maybe for them to kind of avoid?
Well, first off, with music, I'd say learn an instrument early on. Get into that so that you can. The reason I learned to play guitar was so that I could actually accompany myself. I wouldn't have to rely on getting a band together or anything like that. And then I started writing, and so I'd say learn an instrument, start writing, and post your stuff online so that people can find you and discover you, and then you're also establishing your sound. And I think, music-wise, that would be my advice. Acting, I would say, first off, you really have to determine if it's what you want to do. I think a lot of the time people look at it and think it's like, oh, that looks like fun, which it is, but the other side of it is it's a lot of hard work, a lot of rejection, so you have to love it so much to where that doesn't matter.
Right.
So, get into acting classes and do your research and find out if you love getting in front of people and telling stories and then being vulnerable and sharing really deep parts of yourself. And then if you find that that's exciting and you love that, then go ahead with it. And then on the other side of it, fall in love with auditioning. That is major, because most of the time you are going to be auditioning, you're not going to be on a set.
Right.
And the set, I feel like, is like the cherry on top.
Mm-hmm.
That's the it's, you've got to fall in love with the work and the process of it, because if you don't and you put your happiness on the result, which is getting the job, you'll be such a miserable human being.
Keeping it real.
Yeah, so I'd say that, and then as far as like pitfalls, it's like again, I feel like it all goes back to auditioning, because I think it's about don't lose yourself in the sense of and it's so cheesy. It's like, be yourself. Well, yeah, okay. Well, how do I do that? But I think it's really about don't try to be anyone else when you're going out for something. So much of the time, we try and figure out what the casting director or the producers might want, but you'll never be able to guess what they're looking for. And a lot of the time, they don't even know. So, and they're hoping you can walk in and show them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the thing is to like lean into your greatest advantage, which is that you are literally the only person who can do it like you. So just don't rob yourself of that by trying to be someone else. And like capitalize on what makes you special, what makes you you. And yeah, you may not get it, but because maybe you're not right for it, because you're not right for everything. But you'll definitely make an impression. That's really what you want to do, because that's greater than getting one job. That's setting you up for a career. It was a very long-winded answer.
No, you're good.
Yeah, that was like very real. I love that advice. I always like when people say, don't lose yourself in the process and don't try to predict what somebody wants. Just give them what you feel you are. And I mean, I always think that's solid advice for anybody and for any career really, or for just life in general, don't get, cause I feel like that's a life lesson too. Don't try to be what people want you to be yourself. And that's good enough,
Agreed.
Yeah. And it's not sustainable to try and be somebody else. You're going to just be unhappy, and you might as well go be yourself and then enjoy what you're doing. And then hell, if something comes out of it, great. But if not, then at least you're enjoying yourself while you're doing it. So
absolutely.
I think that's
Fantastic. Wow, you have been an absolute gem to talk to today.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, thank you. This has been a blast.
Yeah, no, it's been really fun, and we really love people that come on the show that have such a positive, upbeat attitude and just, live life to the fullest and chasing the dreams and doing what they love. And I mean, you are a classic example of that. So we just wish you continued success, and we are going to start that campaign. We want Parenthood back.
I love it. We're starting a petition. We'll get some signatures. It'll be great.
Right. It's all good. It's all good. But continued success. I'm really excited to see where you go on The Resident, and we can't wait. Continued success with the music, and just we are so thrilled that you came on to talk to us today.
Oh, thank you. This has been awesome. Thanks for having me.
You bet. An open invite. Anytime you want to come back to talk about a new project or talk about your music or whatever, or just come on to shoot the shit, open invite whenever you want.
Definitely.
Sounds good. I'm down.
Fantastic. Well, listen, have a great rest of the week. And like I said, we will be in touch soon. And just thanks so much.
All right. Thanks. Have a good one.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she was a lot of fun. I mean, that is a really upbeat, positive attitude about everything.
Yeah, seriously, and still so level-headed, low to the ground, like very humble about every situation, very like knowledgeable. That just better get used to an audition room because, like she said, being on set, that's that cherry on top. That's what you work so hard to get.
Exactly.
But like we heard from many other guests before, it's like literally 99% auditioning and 1% actually acting and getting there. So great words of advice, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, she couldn't have said it better. And I love that she has something like it sounded very much like her music was her escape.
Yeah.
Like when she's not, doing some acting work, or she has had a couple of things where she's auditioned and maybe not got it. Like she said, she just goes into the room and writes because she's completely in control of that.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's good advice for writers or creators as well, not just music, but to sustain yourself. So, man, yeah, really fun interview.
Agreed. Thank you again, Skyler Day, for coming on the show. All right, now it is time for the top 5 segment. Ooh, this one was hard because we all know there's a lot of brilliant, phenomenal, fantastic, any other great words out there. So many great franchises out there. So this week's top 5 was top 5 favorite franchise standalone films.
Yeah, it was hard, but it was fun.
It was.
Because it just made me, at least anyway, reminisce about all these great franchises that we've been able to see. So, I mean, I was thrilled, man.
Definitely. I mean, it was so hard. Like I said, it was so hard. But my number 5 was The Avengers. The first one, the original. I just think that was just such an iconic film to bring all of these major superheroes together on screen. That was the first time something like that ever happened.
Yeah.
At least in my lifetime. I don't know if it happened in your lifetime.
No, it's the first time ever that anything is like that has happened.
The Avengers, epic movie. Probably going to watch it on Disney Plus after this recording. So, yes.
All right. Mine, I'm going back. Rocky IV.
Ooh.
I mean, Rocky. Okay, there was like one film in the franchise that like just totally sucked ass. Rocky 5.
Yeah.
And Stallone knew it, which is why Rocky, Balboa happened.
Yeah.
And then but 4 for me, as awesome as the first couple were, like 4 for me was always the best. It's America versus Russia.
Yeah.
And if I can do it, you can do it, we all can do it, and he's standing there with a flag wrapped around. And plus, the workout sequence in Russia, in the barn in the snow, has got to be one of the most, cinematically epic things you can ever watch.
Yeah.
So, so fucking inspiring. Rocky 4.
Rocky 4. Man. Number 4 for me was Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban. That is the 3rd installment of the Harry Potter series.
I've never seen any of them.
I know. I know.
I want to see them. I'm not a hater. I'm not. I want to see them. I just, for some reason, have never seen any of them.
Yeah, I'm going to get Emily started on them tonight. so fucking, yes, you need to watch them as well. There's 8. There's 8.
Okay, well, I need to watch them.
Yeah,
so
you do.
I will.
They're all 2.5 hours. Phenomenal movies following all these wizards and warlocks and all these fucking amazing characters. So good. So good. So many good actors attached to it, too.
I know.
Mean, I still can't. Yes.
I know. I'll get on it.
Yes, get on it.
I will. Okay. My number 4, Batman Returns. I went to the Keaton franchise.
Yeah.
Because it's always been, I liked Christopher Nolan's. I thought Christian Bale was great. I liked the whole, but for me, Keaton's Batman is my Batman.
Yeah.
It was badass. It was epic. And I thought Batman Returns with Danny DeVito as Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman was just spot on.
Yeah.
It was so damn good. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch Batman and Batman Returns. I'm telling you, it's so worth it. On DC Universe, by the way, you can watch them right there.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. My number 3 was The Dark Knight, and probably inspired by Batman Returns. That's just my Batman. It's so hard to think about like Affleck and Robert Pattinson and all the others that might come after them. So yeah, Christian Bale, that is my Batman. The Dark Knight, so freaking good. Heath Ledger as the Joker, just phenomenal. I loved his interpretation of the character. But honestly, The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises were both phenomenal films. I mean, what did you think about Anne Hathaway's Catwoman?
I didn't hate it. I just thought it was a different version.
Yeah.
But all kidding, you bring up, like the comparisons and stuff. Matt Reeves' new Batman, I think, very much inspired by Keaton's Batman.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, it's got Penguin in it. It's got Catwoman in it.
It's like the same movie.
Basically, there's a lot of similarities, but then a lot of differences. But I think Matt Reeves even might have said himself he was inspired by the Keaton Batman.
Yeah.
Or Tim Burton's Batman. I keep wanting to say Keaton, but I mean Tim Burton. Okay, my number 3, we're going to go back to the Avengers franchise here, but Captain America Winter Soldier.
Ooh, yeah.
For me, it's still, and I geeked out over all of them, even the ones people didn't like, Thor, 2 and like, Iron Man 3. I geeked out over those too, even though they were kind of, but for me, Captain America Winter Soldier is the best out of all of them. I just thought is the telltale superhero yet not superhero movie. It was a spy adventure movie. It was a political thriller. It was like a superhero action movie. It was like all of these things. I just thought the Russo brothers did a brilliant job with that movie.
Yeah, and I mean that's the one that kind of kicked them off in the cinematic universe, right?
Yep.
I mean, and that's why they fucking directed everything after that.
Yeah,
because they're fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just brilliant.
Agreed. Number 2 for me was Star Wars Return of the Jedi. That is honestly my favorite original Star Wars film. I know a lot of people talk about Empire Strikes Back is the best one out of that trilogy, but nah. I love Luke battling his dad, Darth Vader, and then like him having the soft spot and coming back and being good, one with the Force, and everything being all good, and thinking you kill the Emperor, but you really don't. Spoilers if you haven't seen Rise of Skywalker.
What?
Yeah, the Emperor's not dead.
I'm with you though. I'm with you. Return of the Jedi was my favorite of the original trilogy as well. I really like that. Who the fuck doesn't like the Ewoks?
I know.
But,
yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
know.
I mean, how can that not be your favorite? Like, just You know. I also went with a star for my second one, but I went Star Trek.
Yeah.
And for me, and I think a lot of Trekkers out there are with me on this one, my favorite in the franchise, hands down, Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. Khan! Yeah, I mean, come on, when Shatner's like, Khan! And Spock dies, and that's that classic with the fingers on the window after he's dying, is like, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. There's so many iconic lines in that fucking film. It's just so fucking brilliant. I mean, just like, yeah, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Oh my goodness. And I think number one is both of our favorite films. For your number one was your favorite film, and my number one was my favorite
yes.
film. Basically. By no surprise, number one for me is Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. What the hell? Like, fucking in the most amazing city in the world, and fucking Home Alone. Such a great freaking franchise. So, yeah, I'm sorry for geeking out a little bit, but that's my geek out.
Totally.
So.
I mean, I get it. Mine, anybody who knows, Superman 2. I put Superman 2, but really Superman the movie and Superman 2 are just all like one long movie,
it's
you
one
know.
Continuation.
And if I'm going to do it specifically, Superman 2, the Donner cut, because you know, the added stuff that wasn't in there with the Richard Lester cut, you know, but Donner's cut. And yeah, it's just fucking brilliant. I've said it time and time again. It's the movie that inspired me to want to do all this in the first place. It's just my favorite movie, you're right. It's just brilliant. Superman 2. Zod and like,
2.
You know, just all the kick-ass, you know. I mean, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Was Superman supposed to kill Zod?
No.
No? So they fucked up in Man of Steel?
Well, I mean, I liked the interpretation of Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with Superman killing him to save the Earth.
Yeah.
I did not have a problem with that. It's just in my Superman, he figured out a way to do that without killing him.
Yeah.
He out-tricked him.
He out-tricked him. Which would make sense because he's the best superhero of all time.
That's right. And in my Superman, you know, it was a big deal that he had sex with Lois.
Yeah.
He gave up his powers to have sex with Lois. Think about that.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And they did it in the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah. Does he get his powers back?
Yeah, that's how he out-tricks them.
Like
he went in. He goes into this chamber with the red sun. It emulates red sun, which takes away his power. And that's how he loses his powers. So he tricks Zod and the guys to come into the Fortress of Solitude, and after he's got his powers back already, and they think they're forcing him back in there to get rid of his powers again, but he had somehow reversed it, so he was safe inside there, and the red sun was on the outside and fucked all them up without their powers.
Ha-ha.
Yeah, it's like smart.
Smart guy.
I could tell you the whole movie line for line if you want me.
We don't have enough time.
No. It's a good top 5 though. You see, that's what I was talking about. It makes you reminisce about these like epic things, you know, like the movies that inspired us or like got us excited.
Exactly.
And, you know, it's awesome.
So good. But now it is time for the IMDb Pro Top Trending segment, since we don't have any box office to talk about.
0. J-Lo was spot on this time. Yeah. It's like, you know, it's hard to not predict 0 when there's no movies.
Yeah. Fucking crazy.
Well done.
Thank you.
His most accurate top 5 movies ever. He got it. You nailed it.
Thank you. I do what I can. Money and everything.
Movies you could still go see?
None. Nothing. But yes, IMDb Pro Top Trending segment. We love this app. Oh, you literally saw us during when we were trying to figure out who would play Picard. Saw James McAvoy.
Yes.
I mean, you know, you just space some things sometimes.
Sometimes you do. The name's there, but you can't quite think of it. IMDb Pro.
Exactly. I mean, it's so worth it, guys. $19.99 a month, and it's basically an endless thing of knowledge. Like, it's an endless resource of knowledge.
It is.
Like, so good. But the top trending movie this week, I have never even heard of this one. So
what? You've never heard of Contagion?
I've never heard of
Contagion. It makes total sense that it's number 1 right now, obviously, because of the pandemic that's going on. But yeah, that's what it's all about. Like you know, an outbreak of a contagious disease.
I'm still wanting Hulu to put Parasite on there so I can watch Parasite in the midst of all this.
Yeah,
shit.
and then I'm guessing, although Contagion took the top spot, I'm guessing Outbreak is up there pretty close to with Dustin Hoffman and stuff like that. But any of those type films, I would guess, are booming right now.
Yeah.
So makes total sense to me that Contagion is up there number 1, though.
Definitely. And the top trending TV show is Westworld right now. It's Yeah.
Yeah, because it's getting ready to the new season, right? The new
Yeah.
season's getting ready to debut, and you can probably watch it for free on HBO on that certain weekend.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
you know, so-
Rewind
That's
and
right.
find that weekend so you can watch the latest season.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. And the top trending star is, I mean, she's been bouncing back and forth. Anna de Armas back in there.
Yeah, well, and I think she's trending now again because the new trailer for Chris Evans' new movie came out, and she's in that. So, you know, they've reconnected. So yeah, just all over. I mean, she's pretty popular. She's killing it right now. So
Definitely, definitely. But anyway, guys, that is our show. Thank you so much for coming on and getting a little crazy with us. Episode 106 has been phenomenal. We got to thank our guests one more time, Skyler Dave, for coming on the show, taking a little time out of her quarantine to just talk to us about her career and all that good stuff that happened in it, because we are huge fans of literally everything you've been in.
Yes,
especially
and
Parenthood.
Look, we aren't kidding. We said it, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna ramp up that campaign to bring Parenthood back.
Yeah,
right. Like just
sure.
a reunion show. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Katniss.
Come on.
Get it.
Oh my goodness. Be sure to follow her on social media at Skyler Day, I believe, on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
Follow us on social media at Crazy Ant Media. Anywhere you are on social media, we're Pinterest. We're some Pinterest pinners.
Mm-hmm.
And we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all those good places. Make sure to follow us both personally, myself at JLo Fantastic everywhere, and
Crazy Ant Guy 1970.
And make sure to subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast. Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio. If you like the visual podcast thing, watch us on YouTube. And so many more, guys. We're everywhere. And be sure to visit our website, crazyantmedia.com, where you can read our professional bios, look at our Inside the Crazy Ant Farm page. Our favorite interviews are up there. And you can click on our merchandise tab and start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear, because who wouldn't want a bonk bag,
seriously.
bonk shirt, bonk hat, bonk shirt, like all the good stuff.
It's true.
I mean, this has been a really fun episode. Less Corona this time. Thank God.
Yeah. You know, I mean, and I always like. I love when we get into like discussion about culture.
Yeah.
And this show had a lot of that. You
It
know,
did.
like and it had a lot of stuff to do with right and wrong.
Yes.
Which I really like too. You know, like as much as people, and this just goes back. I love this reflective part of the show now. This goes back to what I'm always talking about, where if you don't force somebody to do something, they will inherently do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Exactly.
I think most people rebel against doing the right thing when they're forced to do it. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because like our industry is hurting right now.
Yeah.
They are hurting, and yet you're seeing time and time again, we talk about it story after story, these people stepping up and still creating these funds or paying their people. Or, I mean, I saw on Twitter, if you go through Twitter, Hillary Burton, just off the top of my head, there's like so many celebrities that are sewing surgical masks and donating them to the hospitals and stuff.
Yeah.
They are literally taking their time in quarantine and sewing to do things. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That people will do the right thing because people are inherently good.
Exactly.
Just don't force them to do it. Let them do it, and they will do it.
Exactly. And I mean, one of my favorite parts was probably learning about Parenthood and how such a dramatic show like that, family dynamic, was a lot of improv.
Yeah.
That's crazy from the interview with Skyler Day. Like, I was so surprised to hear that when her audition process, like, she was just put in a room with Miles Teller and they just went at it. They just were start talking real serious shit, and that happened on set as well. Like,
right.
So we learned so much from the guests that come on the podcast to talk about their careers. We got suits, we got entertainers, actors, directors, producers, and we have musicians as well. I mean, Melinda Hale, she gave us a lot of information about the music industry that we didn't know.
Absolutely.
So,
and there's so many that are cross.
Yeah.
You know, like that do all of it.
Yeah.
You know, they sing and they act and they do it. And so we learned, like you said, just so much from each one of them, and it's amazing, just their journeys. That's my favorite part about the interviews is the journey. Like, and everybody so far is different.
Yeah.
Everybody we've talked to has gotten to where they're at a different way.
Exactly.
And yeah, don't you find it interesting too when they all have gotten there a different way, but when it comes time to give you advice, they all have very similar advice to pass on to people trying to get into the industry, although they've all come up a different way.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is really weird, right?
It's amazing.
It's like, oh no, I would just kind of jumped right into it, was a success right away, or I had to live in my car and wash at the gym, the YMCA. Yet their advice was almost similar to like, this is what you need to do.
Exactly.
It's just very cool.
Exactly. They're all just such good people and always doing the right thing. And I mean, someone else who's always doing the right thing, it seems like, that we still want to get on our show, Oprah!